I think I'll open the meeting properly. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everyone, to this very special meeting of Karachi Toastmasters Club. This is something that is happening for the first time, but few of you would know that actually our founder, DTM Salim, also had established an advanced Toastmasters Club. And it was called Karachi Advanced Toastmasters Club. It survived for many years without meeting much because there wasn't quite an appetite for it. The market wasn't big enough, but he kept it going. And after him, DTM Samir kept it going. Somehow it survived. The first hurdle was that when would it meet? In addition to the Karachi Toastmasters Club meeting, when would the second club meet? There was even an idea that the two clubs meetings would be clubbed together, but that would have created a mess. Anyhow, the club survived, but then it was decided that it was time to morph it into something else. And that something else was what you know today as Husn Khitabat Toastmasters Club. So it was reconverted into a community club and its language was changed. So a total identity change, identity change is so in these days. You wake one morning and you decide, no, I'm not an advanced club. All my life, I have been an Urdu community club. So now I have to convert myself into an Urdu community club. So that's what's going on around the world. Anyhow, so I welcome all of you and thank you for joining. And I also welcome our program. Oh, where is he? I think he got disconnected. Yeah, there he is. So, DTM Umair, please share your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much, Mr. District Director. Let me set my camera, please. Okay. Am I audible and visible? Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. President and Mr. District Director, for inviting me to share my thoughts. It gives me an immense pleasure to see you taking this initiative because in Toastmasters, we strongly believe in the education of our members because that is what ensures the quality and that is what ensures that the members get the best out of the Toastmasters experience. And I can tell all of you from my limited knowledge and my limited experience that I have not seen such a setting throughout the world in Toastmasters. So all of you who are present here today, all of you can take pride in being the initiator and being the first club throughout the Toastmasters community to take this initiative and work on the education of your members. I haven't seen any club, a normal club, which works on the quality of their members through the initiation of academy and through the practices of these advanced club skills. You are the first one, and I'm very happy and very excited to see all of you doing this. And I'm sure that the example that you have set today, the other clubs are definitely going to follow because that in turn is going to help their members learn and grow. Thank you so much, Mr. District Director and Mr. President, for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful initiative. Over to you. You're muted.
Yeah, thank you so much, DTM Umair, for those sentiments, and it makes us feel all quite uneasy because you just ratcheted up the weight of expectations, but still. Anyhow, yes, you're right that I'm not aware of any normal club that is doing this. So let's see how it goes. And it's all about the members, new ways to finding new ways to serve the members. So before we move further, I will just briefly introduce what Toastmasters is. So Toastmasters is a worldwide organization that is headquartered in Colorado, USA. And it works on improving the communication and leadership skills of its members through its unified curriculum. All Toastmasters meetings around the world look and sound broadly the same. They follow broadly the same agenda. with, of course, few minor variations. So as a result of joining Toastmasters, you become certainly a better speaker, you become a better communicator, and in time you become a leader or a better leader. But more importantly, you become a better human being, and also you become better at whatever you do in your life outside of Toastmasters. I'm sure all the experienced Toastmasters here will testify to that no matter what you are doing, and even if it has nothing to do with communication and leadership, whatever you do in real life, you become better at it. So you become a better travel agent, you become a better teacher, you become a better blogger, and of course, you become a better graphic designer. Am I right, Toastmaster? so, so before moving on, we have a couple of guests with us. In fact, we have quite a few guests with us. And in fact, guests are threatening to outnumber the KTC members today, which is a cause for concern for me. Anyhow, we'll discuss about it later and move on to the guests. So we have a guest, Sayyida Fiza Heather Zedi. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Assalamualaikum. I'm Saida Fiza. I'm 18 years old from Karachi, and I just got your email from Toastmasters regarding this meeting. So I was pretty interested because I'm myself an aspiring public speaker, and I just want to, get into this community and know how I can be better at what I do. Just like you said, become a better human being, become a better communicator. So that's why I'm here, and I'm enjoying it so far.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fiza. And we look forward to you becoming a member soon. Then we have Umna, if I'm pronouncing it correct. Yes, Umna, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. And you actually have pronounced my name correctly. It's Umna. I'm basically a member of the Express Toastmasters Club. And this is my first online meeting with the Karachi Toastmasters Club. I came to know about this educational session today. So I'm really looking forward to learning so much more from you over here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guest Umna. Then we have not a guest, but a Toastmaster, Toastmaster Zahra Ibrahim. Please, she's quite familiar to KTC, but still, please introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're fine. So I just joined this meeting to have a know-how at how evaluation, being a better, as you're a great speaker, plus a great evaluator. So just wanted to know more about it. Just here to attend this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have my colleague from TCF, Toastmaster Saima Siraj. Toastmaster Saima, please introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum.
This is Saima Siraj. I'm the member of TCF Toastmaster Club. Thank you.
Great to have you here, Toastmaster Saima. Thank you for joining us. And of course, this person needs no introduction, but still, as per custom, we'll ask him to introduce himself. Toastmaster Jahanzeb. Toastmaster Jahanzeb, please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, DTM Salam. My name is Jahanzeb Shah, and I'm a member of the Storytellers Club and Algram Toastmasters Club. And I'm a VPPR of the Storytellers Club. So happy to be here. Thank you so much.
And you will soon be a member of Quantum Leap Toastmasters Club. Let me remind
Inshallah.
you.
Will do.
Yeah. So,
Tonight. Inshallah.
That's good. No need for such urgency, but yeah. Thank you so much. And with that, only miraculously 3 minutes behind schedule, I'm able to hand over the charge to our Toastmaster of the day. And sorry, yeah. So our Toastmaster of the day is someone who actually used to join us from Kuwait, and then but his presence is such that he is there in almost every meeting. And he has made his mark as a speaker, as a leader, as a role player. There hasn't been a KTC meeting over the past 1 year or so in which, except for the very last one, in which Toastmaster Latif has not won some award or another. And that is not actually something about popularity. That's about the effort he puts in every role he does. So it is my honor and privilege to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali, who is also our VP PR. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you, DTM Talab and Hamid. It's pleasure actually, or honor for me to be in a team where a president like you, the district director, and I humbly welcome our PQD also, DTM Malik Omer. Friends, this is an academy session. And now it's not like grab your bags and go back to school. It is something which we are going to improve in our day-to-day life. And I really admire one of our guests, Saida Fiza Haider, because the moment DTM Talha was commenting on few words, she repeated that, as you said, and a better leader is a better listener. So academy is more about how the speakers are going to be evaluated on an advanced level. Basically, we have always a sandwich approach for the evaluation, and that will remain the same. But over here, we will be having a lead evaluator. Then it will be a standard evaluation who will give the normal evaluation, what we always see. We will have a follow-up for the recommendations and then commendations, and then you will have a feedback from the speaker. That all will be there at the education session. First of all, I would really like to thank once again for you all to join. This is a great moment for Karachi Toastmasters meeting as we head up and we really raise our bar towards 6 meetings a month. Normally, when I was hearing this, DTM Malik Omer also said, and DTM Talha bin Hamid also said, this normally doesn't happen in normal clubs. So it makes us unique, and it makes us a little more to give to the community of Toastmasters who have given us so much how to present ourselves in real life. Thank you once again for joining. As Toastmaster of the day, I will be running the show. This meeting will have mainly 3 segments. First, as you know, it will be a education session by our beloved district director, our president, club president, DTM Talha bin Hamid. He will be giving us an evaluation feedback education session on advanced evaluation. And during that procedure, you will know how this meeting will be running, how the standard evaluation will happen, how the recommendations will happen, and how this commendations plus the speaker's feedback will happen. Moreover, general evaluator, as I said, it will be the same, continues with the prepared speech. So hope it will be an interesting session. And without any further ado, let me ask our facilitators to explain the meeting roles. I have a language evaluator today who will be our word master also. And she is, I think, a social welfare head. I have heard about many things from her speeches, and I wish all the good luck for improvement of the needy people. Thank you very much. So Toastmaster Rabia Zishan, please explain your role.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day, Latif. I would today I will be taking the role of language evaluator, which is somewhat similar to the grammarian role, but more detailed as explained to me by my mentors. So I'll be taking notes of the grammar and also the way sentences and words were spoken. The word of the day for today is paramount, which means more important than anything else. Supreme, more important than anything else, or supreme. So if I have to use it in a sentence, it would be that the Karachi Toastmasters Club's academic sessions are of very paramount importance for the new Toastmasters, or his happiness was of paramount importance. The guidelines were paramount in order to ensure that the academy awards were maintained. So try to use the word paramount in your speeches and in your when you're talking. That's all from me. Thank you so much. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rabia Zishan, for explaining us in detail. Next, we have the all-important who takes care of the time, who keeps on informing us how early or how much time we have. Our timer for today is our immediate past president, Toastmaster Urusa Kawal. Over to you.
Thank you so much.
She is division director, not merely immediate past president. Latif, what are you planning to do?
Thank you so much, DTM Tala. The time for today's speeches is 5 to 7 minutes. Both the speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. So when the minimum time is reached, the screen will be green. When the time is 6 minutes, the screen will be yellow. And when it reaches 7 minutes, the screen will be red. There is a grace period of 30 seconds. So the speaker has to wrap up their speech when the screen turns red. I would like the president or the PR to guide me. Do we need to be timing the evaluators as well?
Yes. Just briefly, I will guide you. Otherwise, this was to be covered in the keynote, but still. The first evaluation is conventional 2 to 3 minutes, right? The commendations are 1 minute each. So no need to, for commendations and recommendations. No need to turn the red, yellow, and green. Just turn red when 1 minute is complete. So that will be enough. So 2.5 minutes, then 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, and 1 minute. And afterwards, the speaker will respond. Again, they will have 1 minute to do that as well.
So there you have it. The timings for the evaluation and the commendation and recommendation. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Division Director. I apologize firstly for having you just announced as immediate past president.
Thank you so much. But yes, I hold both positions.
As per the agenda, you are one of the lead evaluator. So I will be taking care of the timer's role just in case for having your workload little easier. I'm a good human being, right, DTM Tala?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Can I invite our counter today, our designer of who always gives the feedback for my poster designers basically, and I've learned a lot from him. Our all dear Toastmaster Mohammad Azhar Khan, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, TMOD. Today my role is counter, and I will note it all repeated words, all my speakers, and at the end of the meeting, I submit my report to General Evaluator or TMOD. How about you, Toastmaster?
Thank you very much. All important is an tech host, which will be co-hosted by me and DTM Talha simultaneously. So I would give you much of the introduction on that. DTM Talha, may I request Toastmaster Augustine, please, for just to introduce himself? Is it okay?
Yes, sure. Why not?
Toastmaster Augustine, please, if you can introduce yourself. You are an inspiring, just share your story also.
Assalamu alaikum. Actually, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Actually, due to poor connection, I'm not able to listen properly. Please rephrase the thing which you are sharing.
We just asked you to introduce yourself.
Okay. I am a Sergeant of Arms at Zenith Toastmaster Club. And attained the level 4. And now in these days, I am a kingmaker. Although the members last year, I have received a certificate from the area of excellent achievement for bringing the members into Junior Toastmaster Club. But underground, I'll be working for this. But for the sake of bringing the new faces, myself and Rafe, we working at underground. And on the faces, we have brought president and all this. So professionally, I am a professional manager associated with health sector from last 3 decades. And since childhood, I had a flair for the public speaking, but there was no forum because I was belonging to a small city. But fortunately, now I have found the people around me, those who are attaining their goals and success. I wish to be one of them, DTM. Hello.
Wish you all
Am
the
I
very best.
audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Wish
Thank
you
you
all
so
the
much.
very best.
Some connection problem.
No, you were clear.
No,
You were
no
clear.
worries.
And
You were very clear. Yeah.
And we know what.
Okay.
What.
So that
what
was
to,
all.
And I'll tell you, future DTM Augustine. Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's move on for our prepared speech session.
No, education session.
Yeah, sorry. Let's move on for our education session. And this will be mostly, it's a heavy responsibility of one person, DTM Talha bin Hamid. He is taking care of almost 900 or maybe 90,000 Toastmasters around the world. He has been inspired many in Pakistan for sure. You are the district director. So we are looking forward for you. Anything we need. DTM Talha bin Hamid, thank you for gracing us your time and sharing your knowledge with us. Looking forward for an interactive session. For timer, please note this is a 15-minute session and then followed by a 5-minute question and answer session. So please, all the Toastmasters available, distinguished guests who are available, please make your notes. This will help you to bring it to your clubs also, or maybe you can join our meetings as we will advise next meeting on our Saturdays. Thank you. Over to you, District Director, DTM Talha bin Hamid.
Thank you so much, everyone. And welcome once again to this meeting. Now, the first question is why? Why are we having this meeting? And why are we having it in an advanced format? So the first answer is to provide an opportunity to those members who miss out on the Wednesday meeting for certain reason. And why do we have it in the advanced format? Because we want to try something new and give something new to the members. So it is open to our members. And in fact, it is open to even other clubs. If they want to have their speeches evaluated in the advanced format, they are more than welcome to enlist for this particular meeting. And it will also serve another purpose. And the purpose is having an education session in every meeting. So this is just the inaugural education session. Yeah, so, and I welcome my friend, Toastmaster Isaac Ford. This will be the inaugural session, but every academy meeting will have an inaugural session, and it will be from someone within the district or even outside the district. And the topics will be, of course, communication and leadership related. So this is one idea that I took from one of my clubs, Leaders Worldwide, because they have a keynote in every meeting. So I said, why not combine everything else? So why advanced evaluations? Now, advanced evaluation, first of all, is considerably more candid than a routine evaluation. And that's for all the evaluators to take note. You can be candid. Candid in the sense that if you need to focus only on the improvement areas, you can do that. Because when someone signs up for an advanced evaluation, they are signing up for something much more in-depth and something much more, I won't use the word blunt, but you get the idea. Why do we need that though? Now, let me try to give you an illustration. This is an image that is low resolution. It's called 240p, and it means it is with the resolution of 360 by 240. And it comes in a few kilobytes of data. Moving on, the next stage we have 480p image, which is 640 by 480, and this used to be the resolution that the DVDs used to come in. This is also called the VGA resolution, 480p. You must have heard the term. Now you can see at 240p versus 480p, the character is a little more detailed, right? But it is also consuming more data. Not twice the data, but 4 times the data, just for this additional bit of clarity. Then we move on to 720p, which is 1280 by 720 pixels. Now 640 by 480, 640 multiplied by 2 is 1280. 480 multiplied by 2 should be 960, but it is 720 because the aspect ratio is also changing. These aspect ratios are more towards the squared side, 3 by 2. And now we are moving towards 720, which is, I don't know how to say it. It's 1280 by 720, 12 by 7, right? Because these aspect ratios are funny, as the graphic designers would know. There is no predefined standard. Anyhow, you can see now 360p versus 480p versus 720p. Ironically, this monitor is only 1080p, so it has its limitations as well. But you can see that at 720p, there's a little bit more detail and definition. And in isolated areas, it can seem very tiny and insignificant, but in terms of the overall image, it really does make a difference. Now we move on to the next stage. 720p versus 1080p. This is slightly exaggerated, let me tell you. 1080p, you can see the actor's face quite clearly, all the contours, versus 720 is a little blurrier and 480 is still a little blurrier. But the funny thing is, versus 720p, 1080p consumes twice the data. It's called the 2 megapixel image. And that's where why is it 2 megapixel? Because 1920 by 1080 is exactly 2 million pixels. So that's the aspect ratio, 19 by 10, and that's what most monitors today are built around. And you can see there's an additional amount of detail, but it also requires twice the amount of data versus 720. So if you compare it to the original 240p, it requires more than, I think, 16 or 20 times the data for one single frame. Then we further move on to something this monitor cannot display, which is 4K or 3860 by 2160, which is called 4K image or ultra high definition. Now you can see the law of diminishing returns. Moving on from 1080p to 4K does not bring a whole lot of additional clarity, but if you look at the details, it does bring quite a bit of additional clarity. It's not as if it's completely wasted. It's just that 1080p maybe is good enough. So consider our routine evaluations 1080p and consider our advanced evaluations 4K. It's much more detailed. It requires 4 times the data. This is an 8 megapixel image versus 2 megapixels. So yeah, I think it's a nice correlation. 1080p, 1 evaluation, 4K, 4 evaluations. Why do you need all this data? The more data you have, the more information you can represent on the screen and the more you can refine your speech. That's what it's all about. The more feedback you have about your speech, the more you can define it, the more granular you can make it. So that is the whole point of advanced evaluation. They are a little more blunt and they provide you a lot more data. In fact, the evaluation session is as long as your speech itself, right? So that is what advanced evaluation gives you. If you really want to hone your speaker's skills and you really want to do it at a fast pace, and you have the stomach to get so much feedback, which will be blunt, by the way, then you are all set for an advanced evaluation. Now, what happens in an advanced evaluation? The difference between normal evaluation and advanced evaluation is that advanced evaluation is immediate. It happens immediately after a speech, although it's not hard and fast. In our club, we have made that format. In some clubs, again, all the speeches are done first and then the advanced evaluation start. But in our club, we have done, since we have only 2 speeches, so we have done it immediately. So first of all, the immediacy means that the response will be candid, will be potentially unstructured and very, very vivid, because the evaluator has just listened to the speech. So they're just giving their first reaction to a speech. So that won't be the carefully considered and refined feedback that we usually give in the journal evaluation session. There's another crucial difference. We also want to win the best evaluator award while we are giving evaluations in a routine speech. Congratulations, there's no such award in this meeting. So you can be as much blunt as you want. Of course, within the sandwich principle and within the principles of Toastmasters, being candid does not mean that you can do away with the Toastmasters value. You always have to uphold them. But it will be much more immediate, much less well-adorned, much more direct. And then there are commendations and recommendations. So the first evaluation is a routine evaluation, 2 to 3 minutes. Then there are 2 commendations, 2 people who just give commendations, what they felt was good about this. So commendation means praise. So points of praise about the speech in 1 minute. And then recommendations. Again, note, there is no slot for criticism. There's no slot for negative points. It's recommendations. So recommendations means what could have the speaker done better? 2 slots for that. So the main evaluator, you both are supposed to lead the team of evaluators. You will set the tone. You will be doing the first evaluation of 2 to 3 minutes immediately after the speech. And then you will ask the commenders and the recommenders one by one to take the stage and deliver their commendations and recommendations within 1 minute. And then the speaker themselves have a 1 minute slot to respond. In advanced clubs, this is called a rebuttal, but I think the term is quite negative in its connotations. So I think it should be called response. So for example, if someone suggests to me during my speech that you could have incorporated a story into this, and maybe that is the running theme throughout the evaluation. So I can either say that yes, your feedback is accepted, and yes, I'll try to incorporate a story in the next version of my speech, or I can say that I felt there was not a place for a story in this speech because the other stuff that I had to speak on during 5 to 7 minutes was quite enough to fill the whole body. So again, it can be any kind of feedback. What the speaker will be doing is they will be taking in the feedback, first of all, thanking all the evaluators and also giving their point of view about why they did certain things. See, why does that happen? Because an evaluation is merely an opinion. And a speaker is always at liberty to take or leave whatever part they want to. And that's journal principle of evaluations, Toastmasters evaluations. You don't have to take the evaluator's words like it is some sort of divine commandment. It's just their opinion. And if you feel that some of the evaluation was relevant and some was not, then you're free to make that decision and you won't be judged because of that. And why do I give that story example? Because there are some evaluators within our club and certain other clubs too, who like to evaluate by remodeling the speech for the speaker. You must have seen those evaluators. And again, it is a valid approach according to them. But I think that you need to stay within the bounds of the speech, within what the person has written. I mean, seriously, if the person has let's say, told the story of Romeo and Juliet in the speech, the evaluator is effectively saying, okay, but I wish it was more like Cinderella. So adding a whole wish list content-wise, I think it's something, personally, I don't prefer. Again, I don't pretend to be a master at this. It's just my personal preference. And I'm just giving it as an example of how two evaluators can differ, or how the speaker and evaluator can differ with each other. So if you're saying that, you could have added this, you could have added this, you could have told us a little more detail about this. So you're adding a whole wish list of your own desired content onto the content that was already there. So maybe, again, that is valid for some speakers, and maybe for some it's not. So again, it's a science and it's an art. It's not an exact science, right? It's not deterministic. It very much depends upon the speaker's own preferences, their worldview, what they want to communicate. And it very much depends upon the evaluator's perspective, whether they want to focus on the content or on the delivery, whether they were okay with the content, or maybe they found content a little bit lacking according to their judgment. So it's all what you can say a two-way dance between the speaker and the evaluator. And all it does result is in that there's a host of feedback for the speaker from which they can pick and choose according to their own judgment. But again, let me caution here, especially the new speakers. Just because an evaluation is an opinion does not mean that you are authorized to just reject it outright. I know a person that used to do it in their first few speeches. Not me, it was a friend. So I just used to say that, okay, yeah, okay, find the improvement areas. I'll see about it. I mean, they did not seem important to me, but they are important because the evaluator has taken the time and effort to actually evaluate your speech. So that needs to be respected. Even then, and you should at least give it a try. You should at least see the feedback and see whether it fits your project or not. If you decide after that, after a very objective evaluation, that this is not something I want to do, then you're free to do that. But don't reject it outright just because it's an opinion. And especially don't reject it if it comes from someone you don't like. Because first of all, if you don't like someone, chances are they also don't like you. So you both are even in that respect. But they also have to exhibit their evaluation skills in front of the whole club. So please don't think that if someone is being harsh on you in evaluation, they don't like you. They are being sincere. And that should be your first assumption, whether you agree with your evaluation or not. So with that, this session comes to a close. I thank everyone for listening and being patient. And we can start now. I think, Toastmaster Latif, we have a 5-minute Q&A, if I'm correct. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyone who wants to ask a question, please raise your hand, or you can write it in the chat box as well. We have 5 minutes. No questions? Like, did I bore everyone to sleep? Yeah, Toastmaster Ravi.
And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, I just lost the, yes, the one thing that we'll be giving the evaluation right after the speeches?
Yes.
Or we'll wait, okay. So we'll not wait for the journal evaluation session, we'll just after the speeches we'll be having them. Okay,
journal evaluation is just supposed to comment on the meeting itself and maybe just add something to the evaluations. And plus they will also host the
so we'll have the first speech and then we'll have the evaluation right after that, and then the recommendation and the commendation.
All in one feedback, flow. All in one flow.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Great. Okay.
I have a small question. Please go ahead.
No, please you continue. I will just ask afterward.
Just because I'm about to give a speech, I just wanted to gain a little bit more clarity on how the timer will work. Usually it's green. For me, it's going to be 5 minutes. Then at 6, it's going to be yellow and red. How is it different this time? I couldn't grasp it completely.
No, for the speech and your first evaluation, it will be exactly the same. So 5, 6, 7, right? For the speech, it will be exactly the same. For the first evaluation, again, exactly the same. 2 minutes green, 2.5 minutes yellow, 3 minutes red, and 3:30 disqualified. For commendations and recommendations and speaker's response, it will be just 1 minute. So we won't be showing the whole 3 cards. We'll just be showing the red card once a 1 minute or so. Otherwise, for the speaker, the experience is exactly the same.
Okay, thank you. I think someone else had a question. I interrupted.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question that if someone I will ask afterwards, but the one thing is this detailed evaluation comprises of how many minutes? There's a normal evaluation and this one is a detailed one, right? So,
no. Yeah, but the detail comes from the number of evaluations rather than the duration. So the first lead evaluator does the evaluation, which is exactly as per convention, 2 to 3 minutes, right? And then there are 2 commendations, 1 minute each, 2 recommendations, 1 minute each. So additional 4 minutes. So that's where the detail level comes from, not for the duration of individual evaluations. Is that clear?
DTM Tala, Janzeb Shah, please.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, please go ahead, Janzeb.
Yes, DTM Tala, sorry, I missed the link between advanced evaluation and general evaluation. Is it like a speaker chooses to get evaluated in an advanced manner, or what is it like?
Okay. So first of all, the link between advanced and since in this advanced meeting format, the evaluations take place immediately after the speech. So the GE session does not cover the speech evaluations. GE does not call upon the evaluators. It is the TMOD that is doing it, right? And so that's the first difference. The second is GE session does not have the speech evaluations, although the general evaluation can add their own take on some things. Either on the speeches or the evaluations. It is in fact their job because they are evaluating the whole meeting. And then they will host the facilitator reports and then give their view about the meeting. So that is one thing. About the second thing, if someone enlists for this session, the academy session, that means that they are enlisting themselves for the advanced evaluation. In a normal meeting, in our conventional open house meeting, of course, we will have conventional evaluation as per routine. And if someone opts to participate in this particular session on Saturdays, then that means that they are putting themselves up for advanced evaluation. And let me also clarify one more thing. Usually advanced evaluations take place for advanced projects, level 4, level 3, level 4 and 5 projects. But I'm slightly against that because that limits the scope of the projects. I'm pretty much open to any project being evaluated in an advanced manner. It doesn't have to be a level 3, 4, or 5 project. So that is why. And plus, the format of advanced meetings is not a hard and fast set rule. Clubs, several advanced clubs do have their own take on this format. So I hope that is clear, Toastmaster Janzeb.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Toastmaster Najm, and everybody, please welcome Toastmaster Najm, who was my first mentor and who still is my first mentor. And when you hear him evaluate, you will know why. So it is an honor to have you, sir. And I believe you just you missed the orientation session, but it's not a big deal because using my rights as the president, I will keep interrupting the meeting in my routine, charming manner whenever there's something that needs to be explained or corrected. So nobody needs to worry about anything, okay? So with that, I hand over the charge back to our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DTM Tala bin Hamid. It was great for us to know And it is a challenge for all the evaluators, because if you look at the contest, you have 5 minutes. Over here, you have not even 30 seconds. So please be prepared of all the points what you're looking forward. And as you know, the recommendations and commendations are all important. Why I say this? Because the lead evaluator will share the points. So you must have an extra point, which has not been already given to the speaker on his evaluation. So it's a tough job for everyone, and that is what we call it in advance. Thank you, DTM Tala, once again for having us. Such an informative session, and I really wish from bottom of my heart that this academy goes with a success, and we'll rerun it for the whole entire generations to follow. Now, let's move on with our prepared speech section. And this session, our first speaker is Toastmaster Imran Chaudhry. He is, I will say, young Toastmasters, because this will be his first level second project, and the lead evaluator for his speech is none other than Toastmaster Najam Rizvi. Toastmaster Najam Rizvi, please, if you can share the speech objectives of Toastmaster Imran Chaudhry.
Thank you, Toastmaster Latif. Toastmaster Imran Chaudhry. The purpose statement of his speech is, the purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. And it should be a well-organized speech on any topic of his choice. My focus will be on his speaking style and to recommend improvements on that style. And it can be humorous, it can be informational, it can be any style that the member chooses. So that's the purpose statement of the speech. Over to Imran, Toastmaster Imran Chaudhry.
Toastmaster Imran Chaudhry, please confirm if you are audible. Yes.
Am I audible?
Oh, yes.
Great. Thank you so much, TM Najam Rizvi and everyone else, especially for placing a bet on 240p like me. That somehow, someday I'll be of a 4K visual aspect. So, cloud in the sky. Actually, what I wanted to talk about today was the importance of narratives and perspectives that we build in our lives. And so how does cloud in the sky relate to that? I'll come to that, I promise you, a little further down the road. But I thought before starting the speech, since there are so many newcomers here, I just wanted to, this is my second speech. In an icebreaker, I mentioned, although it was a bit dark, and I do apologize for making the first speech. Normally, this is not how you start, but it had a point. And I'm not going to bore you guys with the story again, but the point was this, that often in the darkest areas of your life, that's where you'll find the paramount of the identity that you will carry for the rest of your life. And I submitted that it's not it's in your brain where you think there is nothing but coal, you will find diamonds, because coal is something that you associate with the darkest areas. So I urge you, carrying on from the previous speech, that if you want to find the true identity, that's the area you ought to be looking for. Now, coming back to this, the cloud in the sky and the narratives, the perspective that I built, it's a bit complex to explain, because actually this is more than half of my life. I've been struggling to find meaning in life, And in 2016, I thought I did, although it's a long journey, and obviously there will be refinements. But I think I would like to think prior to 2016, I was confused, and I was in a state of, confusion is good. Confusion is very good. But the one caveat that keeps dragging you back is that you are never stable enough to stand on some platform. So I think the cloud in the sky, the thing that I thought of and compiled that year, gave me the grounds. And it had a lot to do with understanding, in actually gelling the perspectives and narratives with the identity that I spoke about in the last speech. So I think now more than ever, we can understand it better, because thanks to Einstein and his general theory of relativity, we know that everything in this world is relative. And I would like to submit that the narrative that we buy in, the propagandas or the stories that we buy in, I think there's no single truth to any of them. The best we can do is get closer to the truth. And how we get closer to the truth? When we are born, we are fed with so many narratives that it just occupies the real estate of that corner of the brain where we are supposed to form the identity. And it's just because, to me, I think it's like a marriage. If our identities are, because this is just as a marriage partner, we are supposed to live and die together, and till life that's us apart, whatever they say. I'm sorry. It's just it calls for us to look the identity under the microscope, at least when we gain consciousness. And that's I think I spent more than 10 years doing that, because I was born in Karachi. My father was in military, so I kept on moving around the country. So I had, couple of pockets of identities carried forward from all of those places, but mostly the culture that I grew in was very conservative religiously, and freedom-wise, I think a lot of those things, I think I hope I'm relating to everyone, that we feel sometime or the other that we do not have the flexibility to move around and see, to actually reflect back what our true self is in the midst of all those identities that have been carried around since childhood. Since the time is short today, I have few other stories, obviously, to impart. One of which is the journey, how I came about to the conclusions. Obviously, it's very personal to me and it only relates to me. But I think if I saw a huge impact of it afterwards, and I thought, if I have such an impact, however personal it may be, it might be of value to someone else. But that's for some other day. And thank you so much, everyone, for taking out time to listen to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary, for such an informative, yes. Now let's hear from our lead evaluator, Toastmaster Najam Rizvi, for the crisp evaluation on Toastmaster Imran's speech. So you're mute.
Am I audible now? Am I audible?
Yes,
Thank you. Now, as an evaluator, I'd like to first of all say that it was a very impressive speech. This is the first time I've heard Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary, and wonderful speech, great speech. In the sense, how was it a great speech? I mean, I liked his total relaxed style of speaking. He was totally at ease. He made wonderful use of the floor space that he had. He had his cameras so that we could see a large background in the in our view. He had a guitar. He has a guitar placed behind him, which I like very much. I mean, it's a very perfect professional setting. Now, what can I suggest? I like some wonderful points in the speech, like his coal to diamonds analogy and the real estate in his mind. These were very good usages of the language. What can I suggest for maybe for his future speeches? And I'm sure we'll hear a lot of good future speeches from Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary. It was an ambling style of speaking. I mean, I could not clearly detect where was the beginning and where was the end. It was like I was left waiting for something, the body of the speech to come along, something, you know, concrete in between, which the other speakers could relate to and take along with them. You have very little time in a Toastmaster speech, especially for a philosophical topic that you chose. So it's difficult, I understand that, but that's the time you have to deliver your message. The message should be well composed and clearly delineated. Where's the beginning, where's the body, and how does the end, what do you conclude with? What's your message? That should be at the, briefly at the end. So that I found was missing. You said this is your second speech. That's wonderful for a second speech, but this is some of the things that you will improve and learn as you go along. And you have all the right ingredients to become a great speaker. And I think the club rightly expects you to be one of our key speakers in future. So good luck with that. And I hope to hear great speeches from you again. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, our lead evaluator. DTM Talak, shall we? Now, as we heard the first advanced evaluation, now let me invite the recommendation team. First, Toastmaster Urusa Kawal, please, if you can give the recommendation on.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Loki. I'll just time myself. All right. So Toastmaster Imran, that was a really wonderful speech. So I'll just get down to the recommendations. I have just 3 recommendations for you quickly. You were giving references to a previous speech. Now I'm looking at you for the first time. I'm hearing your speech for the first time. I don't know what the speech was. So I would suggest that a reference to a previous speech in your current speech would be really futile for people who haven't heard your speech. So it would be great if you could bring a topic that's, complete and does not give references to, other speeches people might not have heard. Then I missed eye contact. I really missed it because you were walking. That's great. But please look at the camera so, we can connect with you, especially on online platforms. And the third one, you had a very, very philosophical topic. So there was certain places where, I felt that I could not connect with your topic. Like when there were certain places that I could find really a lot of connection, like when you talked about identity, like when you talked about real estate space in your brain. But there were things that where they were vague. So maybe if your whole speech has a lot of connecting points, that would be much more easier for people to connect. That's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster.
May I invite Toastmaster Rabia Zishan for the second recommendation for Toastmaster Imran's speech.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif. I would like to, it was an amazing speech, but few recommendations that I noticed were, you were clasping your hand a lot of time during the speech, which does not, visually it does not seem good. After every point, you had your hands like these. And also, as Tia Marusa mentioned, that you were walking, but while walking, if you were looking on the right side, you kept on looking at the right side, and while you were walking towards the left side. So for a long period of time, you were not connecting to the audience. Also, for me, the distance between the camera and your placement was a little bit too far. I would have preferred, although the stage became big for you to walk and show your body language, but it was a little too far for my, that is what I believe. And one more thing which I felt was, it felt like it was a little bit underprepared. You were trying to think during the speech that it may be a style of yours, but something like that. So thank you so much. That's all from my side.
Toastmaster Imran, I'm telling you, this is not easy for the Toastmaster who has just joined and giving his first speech. So thank you for, you've been really brave accepting this. You've really been brave accepting this academic session and giving a speech on it. No worries, I'm next, so you'll know how they will chop me. Let's have more from the commendation side, and this time it is Toastmaster Azhar Khan. Toastmaster Azhar Khan, what you have to share, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. I'm audible. Yeah, today my report is arms counter. Today we're very...
Sorry, Toastmaster. No, wait. Toastmaster. You have to say something good about the speech.
What was good about the speech in 1 minute?
Oh, sorry, I was thinking. I just I didn't know I think so.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have multiple roles. No worries.
And many colors in your mind.
Basically, my speech, my words, I have no idea what should I say, but all my seniors members said I agree with them, and I go. What should I have? Words right now. Toastmaster of the day. Basically, so over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Azhar. Now let's have hear word from a guest from Dow IBHM Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Zara Ibrahim. Please share your commendation for Toastmaster Imran's speech.
Okay, so am I audible? You talked about recommendations, right?
No, commendations. What you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I have to. Yes. So Toastmaster, the speaker who just had given the speech, so he had his own style. He had his own style and adopted it very well. And he was very calm and relaxed as well. And moreover, as if no one is in the room, he was very moving around, using the stage very well, and being very relaxed. And moreover, he could able to deliver his message across. Moreover, so I can't give the recommendations. That's something I can't do. So moreover, he has used the stage very well, and the whole background was very uniform and very well, which there was no distraction behind, and we could, see the speaker and his movement as well in a very uniform way. And that's all from my side, being commendations. So no recommendations. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. So this ends for the first speaker's advanced evaluation session. And I really congratulate to each and everyone who have participated and made this as a success. Thank you for the lead evaluator, Toastmaster Najam Rizvi, and Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary. Please share your feedback about the whole evaluation advanced session.
I think my feedback is I really appreciate the candid and raw feedback that I've received. Because bear in mind, I mean, I've been in sales and I have a very thick skin. I don't get knocked off easily. So I really appreciated the candid feedback from all of you guys. And because these are the feedback that I want to take along in improving myself, being a 4K person. So that's all for me. And again, I mean, I would like to hear these kind of feedbacks again and again, rather than flowery words. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Imran. And you know that this recording will be on air on YouTube channel, so you can get again to this and can deliver on the betterments to this for your next speech. Next speaker is Toastmaster Latif, who is myself, and my speech evaluator, lead speech evaluator is Toastmaster Urusa Kaul.
I can, sorry, I can time this whole thing.
Yes.
Because, yeah.
So Toastmaster Latif is giving his speech from Motivational Strategies, and his project is Know Your Sense of Humor. The purpose of this speech is to begin developing a collection of humor stories and to present a speech that includes humor. The speech length is 5 to 7 minutes, and his speech title is The View from the Middle Seat. Over to you, Toastmaster Latif.
Middle class, middle of the road, middle of everything. Do you know? Middle is my last name. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. I recognize that someone has to sit in the middle seat of an aeroplane flight. But I end up more than most of the time. There are two reasons of it. One of them is my wife likes the window seat, and I be the person sitting next to her. As I said, I do. So seat B or seat E is my designated parking place. Once, I just would like to share, we were on a longer flight from Dubai to Kuala Lumpur. It's a 7 hours journey. Look what we did. I was flying on my birthday eve. So while I entered the door of the plane, I was assuming that today she will tell you live your life, and I will be sitting on a window place. As I put my baggage in the check on the box, just wanted to go there, she pat my back and said, "Where are you going? It is not me who has to sit on the window seat?" I said, "Yes." And there she sat like a queen on the throne. As I saw my left, there was no place, nobody sitting. It was empty. And I just managed my luck saying, "Oh, today I might be traveling on a business seat." But that did not stay longer. As the doors were completely going to close, a young man in his late 20s entered, and he was a heavy built guy. as he sat just next to me, and I said, oh my Lord, why on this earth he is just sitting next to me? Moreover, he was fond of having protein shake. So as he used to start having his shake, he used to rub his biceps, the heavy biceps, towards me and makes me uncomfortable. So at one place, there is someone I cannot say no. And there is one place where I cannot even say, excuse me, because I was excused. Now, this is just one of the incident. When it comes to the flight, I have many. One, it is very important, I would like to share, I am a travel agent. So in initial years, as I was trying to build up the more of my money and bank balance, and I was a young man, I tried to delay my vacations. So I said, my mom, I'm unable to confirm a seat. She said, Latif, what kind of travel agent you are? You cannot confirm your seat? I had no answer for that. But that brings me to my another middle section, which is I'm always stuck in roundabout. Now, if you imagine a roundabout, you will see the four sides of the road driving, but the person or the driver who is on the roundabout has the access to go take any exit you wish. In my routine, it's always a difficult one. So as I said, my last name is Middle. I was stuck just when I planned and gathered a lot of money to have a good time on vacations and buy a property. But I was happy as I took a balance from my ATM machine that time. I was driving towards home, then pack up my bag and towards the airport. I have no idea what I was dreaming, and I banged the car. The car was not that, it was just a BMW. And I had to pay him all the money which I saved for my vacation. You know what I'm trying to say. That brings me to the next middle. And in Pakistan, returned from Kuwait, and I was living as if a middle class person. I have to check my balances. Even if I have to invite my friend, I have to calculate how much in rupees and dinars. So that's my whole life. Let me share one thing. I was having a family gathering. So I decided to buy some gifts for them. I bought an expensive watch for my wife, and that too from a Friday market. Now, what is Friday market? To be familiar, it's similar to like in Karachi, the Tuesday markets, where you can get the first copy of the original. I bought one my budgeted watch. Luckily or unfortunately, I left my receipt on my back pocket. Somehow that was catched by my wife. And I had no other option to show them and say, sorry, it is not the one which you are expecting. I tried many a times. Once I saw my manager wearing an expensive bracelet, and I just asked her from where you have bought this, thinking that this might be a 18-karat gold. She said, no, Latif, you cannot afford this. And I felt, she reminded me that I am from a middle class. Let's move ahead. I have shared many things with you, being on middle class. Trust me, if I am being ever on middle of everything, that does not stop me enjoying my life. Here is all what I have collected my stories just to share with a smile. Having whatever the troubles and difficulties you have, the best thing in your life is a smile, giving it to the others, putting it and living your life the way you want to. As I always said, you might have 1,000 problems, but for sure, if you look for a solution, you will find an addition. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you. Now let me invite Toastmaster Urusa, who will be my lead evaluator. Toastmaster Urusa, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Designated parking place, squeezed roundabout. There were so many intellectual parts, intellectual humor in your speech, and I could name a lot. And I'd say the project objective of your speech was accomplished perfectly in your entire speech. I really loved the way you strung joke after joke, story after story, humorously in, in building the whole narrative about being middle class. And then in the end, you brought a CTA that you can enjoy life even if you are middle class. A recommendation, Toastmaster Latif, I am seeing the same thing again and again. You're just, you're giving a style. Your style has become a signature of Toastmaster Latif. So maybe I'd like to see something different, maybe next time. So that's the only recommendation I have for you. Otherwise, your speeches are wonderful. You bring in humor, you brought in sarcasm, you brought in, aspirations. They are always there. But that's the only thing that I want to see. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Urusa. You have another 2 minutes, I believe. You could have made a good apple or orange juice of mine. Okay, can I invite Toastmaster Rabia Zishan to give one recommendation, please? Or as many as you. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif. But this has been a very difficult job as a recommender for me today. As Toastmaster Urusa said, very little to recommend. Just one thing which it would have taken it another level was when you were speaking about your wife, that she said something to you, you could have acted that voice out. That's one thing. Even without it, it was very good, but that would have given it a little more flavor. That's it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rabia Zishan. I know I cannot invite Toastmaster Urusa this time for the recommendation, as she is the lead evaluator. May I request DTM Talha bin Hamid for one recommendation, and he is my mentor for all lifetime.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif. Recommendation. Now, first of all, I believe that I will second what Toastmaster Urusa said, that your style is obviously very good, but it is becoming quite familiar. So again, time to change it up a bit, and it's not a problem at all. It happens to all of us that speak frequently. So yeah, when I got sick and tired of my own voice, then I had to change it up a little bit. So nothing wrong with that. So you could have brought a little bit more vocal variety, even more. I'm not saying it wasn't there, but more vocal variety could have been there. For example, playing out different characters, a little more movement, although I think you were constrained by the setup a little bit. You could have mimed the various parts of your speech a little better, but otherwise, I think that's all the recommendation that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Talha bin Hamid. May I request, yes, Toastmaster Zara, please, if you can give me your commendations.
Yes, definitely, sir. Actually, I have wrote down multiple things, but I will just conclude it. As you have talked about the sandwich thing.
May I interrupt? May I interrupt?
Yes,
you
yes,
can share
yes.
everything, because everyone has not utilized their time.
Okay.
You can share everything.
Okay, I will take 1.5 minutes, of course.
Okay.
So you had, as you talked about this, you were there in a flight as a sandwich. No, there was being in the, you have on the other side, you have your wife, on the other, that bodybuilder you talked about. So I will also use that sandwich approach. So one plus point was your gestures automated with the speech, with every word you elicited. The body language, the entire body language was like commendable. And one recommendation, as you talked about the incident of a flight, you could have incorporated the year, was it pre-COVID time or during COVID, and make it more humorous in a way that as if you have availed that discounted offer of the planes or what, because during these times, it's the plane tickets are, much more cheaper. So this is my recommendation, because I could hardly find any recommendation. And moreover, you ended that your entire speech with a great smile, and it has a lesson, and which has impacted the audience in a very beautiful manner. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being so generous. Now, I just simultaneously assigned one commendation role to Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary. So please, Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary, share what did you like in my speech? Please, positive. Huh?
You, first of all, let me start by saying that you being so senior to me, I hardly can say anything about. Obviously, I mean, I've seen your speeches. I think it's the third time that I've witnessed you speaking. I think the way you speak is very professional, and everything about it is very clear and crisp, and you fill your speech with the jokes, which can really bring, a bright light to whatever your message at the end is. Now it's going to be only one, I wouldn't say negative, but it's just going to be my perspective on it. I would like to, because the message is basically tightly linked to the personality of the speaker. And my own style is, and I would like to carry it on as well, and would recommend others as well, that it should be very organic, should be very natural. There's no harm in, I mean, I'm not saying that you don't do that, but I think there's no harm in pushing your own self, projecting it onto others while you're speaking. So this is the only thing that I feel about you, that it's very professional, extremely professional. And it doesn't, I mean, I know you a bit personally as well. It doesn't reflect your personality the way it should be. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Imran. Thank you, everyone. Now it's just my time to share what I felt. First of all, this project was to know your sense of humor, and it was of like, I have to share some of the stories of what makes me, myself, a smile, and I would like to share with the audience and see if that makes an impact. It's just a project where we learn how to use in our speeches some of the humor to make a conversation light or a better. Yes, I agree. This does not have my way. I normally speak fast, or maybe I just go on with one pace. I will for sure try to change some of the my style and try to be a better one, as normally what we practice, to take it to the real life world. Just a background, I've been working, or I've been trying to change this style from almost last more than a year, but it's not happening. Most likely, maybe the contest year is coming. I might prepare a good speech for that and have all this into one gist, and might beat Javed Bhatti. So here we end up this good evaluation session, academic session. Now let's have a report from the R counter first, and then we'll hear it from the
journal evaluator. It has to be within the GE session.
DTM, I think we don't have.
You might want to look at the agenda more closely.
Who has prepared the agenda?
Well, take a look at it.
The general evaluator is DTM Talha, I think.
Yes.
Okay. DTM Talab and Hamid, please.
Okay. So journal evaluation. First of all, the first feedback on the agenda itself, it needs to be a little bit better sequenced and a little bit better at conveying what will happen in what sequence. Although, since this is our first meeting, the first advanced meeting, it is absolutely no problem. The agenda is brilliantly made. Some aspects are very innovative as well, but my only beef with it is that just like it caused a confusion, what needs to happen is that the evaluations take place after the speeches, and then the GE takes over and the facilitator role, and they can also add their comments to the speeches and evaluation. So that is something that should be reflected in the agenda. So let me start by saying, once again, reiterating, because Toastmaster Najam wasn't here when we started. This was actually a dream of DTM Dr. Salim, our founder. We had to have an advanced club, and that dream actually faced many hurdles. And ultimately, in his lifetime, unfortunately, it couldn't come to fruition. The club did exist, but advanced meetings, I believe, did not take place, unless Toastmaster Najam can correct me. So this is our way of obviously honoring him and coming full circle, and also to go somewhere beyond where we were last year as a club. Let me inform everyone that last year we were in the top 4 or top 5 worldwide in terms of education awards. This year, so far, some clubs have exceeded the whole year figure. So there are 4 or 5 clubs that have exceeded 115 awards. And our response, or my response to that is, fine, take your awards and show them, because this is not what we are doing. We are not filling the ticks on the pathways just to get the awards. We are actually earning them. So we won't be part of that rat race. It's gotten ridiculous. It's gotten out of control. 115 awards at 18 September. Come on, there's absolutely no way that is possible. So yeah, again, those clubs, they can have their number 1 status. We are no longer part of that race. Instead, we are delivering something different. We are delivering more value. Last year, the value was delivered in terms of giving everyone an opportunity to speak and getting more speeches in a meeting. And this year, this is part of the additional value that we are attempting to deliver to our members. So with that, about the speeches and the evaluations. So first of all, as pointed out earlier, usually in advanced clubs, level 3, 4, and 5 speeches are accommodated, but we think that all kinds of speeches deserve an advanced evaluation. It should be up to the speaker whether they want to be evaluated in an advanced manner or not. Secondly, both the speeches were very different, first of all, and that reflects, even in 2 speeches, one could see the diversity of speeches that takes place at Karachi Toastmasters Club, and that is something very amazing. In terms of style, in terms of delivery, in terms of contents, both the speakers hardly had anything in common. And that is something absolutely wonderful, because that means both the speakers were expressing their personalities. So yeah, there was a little bit of an awkward overlap when Toastmaster Ladeep asked the first speaker to evaluate his speech, because obviously the views, the world views of speakers, the approaches of speakers are different, right? For example, what one speaker may interpret, and yes, that is a common criticism leveled at Toastmasters, that some of the speeches can sound artificial, but they're not artificial to the speaker, right? And when you are familiar with their style, when you've heard enough, that style becomes second nature for the listeners and for the speaker as well. And I can very much relate to what Toastmaster Lateef talked about. Being sick and tired of one's own style, and yet not finding anything that could change things up. So my message to everyone who faces this is this, because I've faced this multiple times. keep looking until you find, you will find. The only thing is keep looking what you can for what you can do different. So one thing that you can do, Toastmaster Latif, is to take after or at least give a long hard look at how Toastmaster Imran spoke, because he has that style of very structured and deliberate casualness. He has a studied casualness. So he likes to be casual. He does not like to be formal, as he very much made clear. And he plans it that way. So that can be one of the approaches. And again, for Toastmaster Imran, for you, if you look at Toastmaster Latif's speech, yes, for a newcomer, it may appear that the speaker is acting very different from what they appear to be in real life. But that's what makes it a formal speech. Remember what I told you, that there's a difference between a formal speech and a talk. Some topics are ripe for a talk, right? For example, again, an icebreaker can be a talk. It can be a fireside story. But a formal speech like Toastmaster Latif requires maybe a little bit of a formal approach. And yes, it may seem jarring at first, but as you get familiar with the speakers and their various approaches, so you can skew your speaking style a little bit towards what Toastmaster Latif did in order to conquer some of the recommendations that you receive. So today was our, first of all, exceptionally amazing job by both the evaluators, especially Toastmaster Najam, because you delivered an immediate evaluation that was every bit as high quality as your usual evaluations. And of course, Toastmaster Rusa is always very, very succinct with her feedback. And she just says what she wants to say. She doesn't give any regard to the timing. What she has planned out, she just carries out. So again, in that 1 minute or so, Toastmaster Rusa, I believe you delivered a whole 3 minutes worth of evaluation in your usual style. So congratulations on that. That said, we would have liked to hear more from you. But again, that's completely your choice. Now it is time for me, and as far as the evaluation, the commendation and recommendations were concerned, I think everybody did an admirable job of sticking to the timeline. That was an amazing thing to see in our very first meeting. So keep it up, the recommenders and commenders. And my general remark would be, at the end of it all, was that before this, next time before this meeting takes place, maybe myself, the VP Education, or maybe the VP PR, or maybe one of the other ExCom members, they can give a briefing to the commenders and the recommenders to tell them exactly. A briefing needs to take place so that we are more familiar with these roles. Other than that, obviously, it is a tremendously proud moment for all of us because we successfully hosted our first advanced meeting. Now I will invite our language evaluator, Toastmaster Rabia. No one dare say grammarian. Language evaluator. That's what's different about advanced club.
Thank you so much. When Toastmaster Imran gave me this language evaluator role, I thought it was for only one speech. And I thought it was easier than the grammarian. But today I asked someone, and then I got to realize it was even more harder than the grammarian role. So here is my evaluation for language evaluation. I'll give examples of sentences which could have been better, like we get closer to the truth, and how do we get closer? It's better if you do not, if the word and was not used, and a very good usage of word was flowery words for the evaluations. That I need a crisp and blunt evaluation rather than flowery words. It seemed it made it look very nice. Then all the evaluators are very kind, and but they made the point as well. That is what a general evaluator needs to do, to make all the points he wants to make, but do it in a manner which was very kind. So being a language evaluator, I could see that they were very, it was a very positive feedback rather than criticizing or making the speaker feel nervous. So the language was good over there. Was catch could have been was caught. Makes me uncomfortable, made me uncomfortable. I said my mom could be told my mom. Other than that, a general overall thing which I want to say is that we tend, most of the speakers tend to use filler words when they are finishing a sentence. We need to stop using and, so, but, and continuing the sentence. We need to finish a sentence and then start a new one. And that is what everyone of us was doing. We don't want to finish a sentence and want to keep the flow going. So we, even when a point is finished and we are starting a new point, we do not stop over there. We add, and so we can do that, but we can do that. And all of us were doing that. So that is one thing which I noticed throughout the language, throughout the meeting. That's it for me today. Other than that, I was so busy looking for the recommendations that it was hard. For next time, please do not give these two things to the same person, because I was not focusing on the language more or the grammarian part. I was more focusing on the recommendation part. So it was a little bit trickier. So thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abhay. What an amazing job you did as a language evaluator. And you caught us. I mean, I found myself doing this. I constantly find myself doing this, rambling on and on after saying and or but, and then thinking what should come after that. So just like what I'm doing now. So this is a habit, a bad habit that we all have, and we need to control it. We need to put full stops in our conversation, and we need to stop when we need to stop and we don't have anything to say, rather than just going on after saying and or but or however. With that, we move on to our counter of the day, Toastmaster Azhar Khan. Toastmaster Azhar, over to you.
Should I have some feedback on Latif's speech?
No, you just present your counters report.
Okay, Sam, I'm confusing the both times. Sorry again. But I have the one suggestion of the speech. Can I share, President? Basically, he said he was earning the dinar and now he's a middle class. I disagree with him. Okay, if you are earning the dollar and pounds and dinar and Kuwaiti dinar, and you are telling me that you are middle class, I'm not agree with this. If you are doing that, you are earning money in the rupees, Pakistan rupees, then you say, okay, I am a middle class. I agree. But you are earning on a dinar, Kuwaiti dinar, 300, 400 rupees, one dinar. And you say, you said, I'm a middle class for elite class. Okay. You are middle class, so the elite class, not okay. Sorry, but now I'm presenting to my boards. All my members very professional. Just hardly 1 and 2 times said the Latif said 1 times. Toastmaster Rabi Shan said 1 times. Imran Chaudhry said 1 times. Urusa Gawar 2 times. Nijam Sahab said 1 or 2 times. But otherwise, okay and really good. And I appreciate to no one say hardly to more than repeat and repeat it.
Thank you so much, counter. Thank you so much, counter. And I really like the fact that you had one bit of feedback and you communicated it. So yeah, and you basically spoke for what was in all of us' hearts. So thank you so much. So now we move on to our timer of the day, Toastmaster Urusa. Toastmaster Urusa, over to you.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. The keynote speech was for exactly 15 minutes, 30 seconds, and the Q&A session lasted for 6 minutes, 9 seconds. The first speaker spoke for 6 minutes, 51 seconds. The evaluator evaluated for 2 minutes 46 seconds. Then the recommendation was for 1 minute 35 seconds. The second recommendation was for 1 minute 8 seconds. The commendation was the first commendation, 16 seconds. The second was for 1 minute 2 seconds. And Deacon Tala, could you give me the time for the second one?
Yeah, it was the speech was I think I didn't note it down, but it was within the yellow zone. So yeah, it was I think 6 minutes 55 seconds, and the evaluation was also obviously evaluation was barely 1 minute. Yeah, quite a bit less than 2 minutes, and it was. The commendation and recommendations did not exceed the allotted time by more than 15 seconds. So yeah, all of them were within 1 minute 15 seconds.
That is the time that you put. Over to you, General.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rusa, for doing such multitasking. It was not easy at all, but you did a commendable job. And I believe we are done with the facilitators, so it's my general evaluation of the meeting. I won't take much time because what I wanted to say, I already said in the beginning in terms of evaluation. So just a few key points. First of all, we did not start on time, and I think that is what's reflecting now, but we need to be a little more careful about time. We have 15 minutes over time. Not that much, given the fact that it is our first advanced meeting, and given the fact that we started 5 minutes late. But still, I want to thank everyone who turned up in time for this meeting. Next time, a few improvement areas of my own. First of all, we need to assemble at least 15 minutes before the meeting, all the role players, so that the briefing can be done. We need a bit of briefing to get things going smoothly before the meeting, all the speakers and the role players. And secondly, one improvement I would suggest is that maybe the lead evaluator hosts the whole evaluation session. So they do the evaluation and then they hand over to the recommendations and to the commendations themselves, rather than it shuttling between the TMOD and the evaluation, because that takes more time. Other than that, obviously, I'm thrilled that basic premise of the whole exercise was completed by everyone. And I believe the speakers both felt more enriched as a result of feedback received today, and especially versus a normal Toastmasters meeting, which in Toastmaster Imran's words tends to skew towards the more flowery side of the spectrum. But in this, we are free to deviate from that, obviously, while retaining the sandwich approach and while retaining the core values of integrity, respect, and service and excellence. So I am sincerely grateful to our ExCom who supported this initiative wholeheartedly. And I'm also sincerely grateful to everyone who took out. And this is a message to all our members and people from other clubs too. If you miss our Wednesday meeting, this is a chance for you to deliver your project. We will inshallah continue to have more education sessions, and they will be by considerably better and more qualified trainers than yours truly, because today I thought this would be a good idea to brief everyone about what an advanced meeting is. So it would be a nice synergy, but rest assured, it will be much better next time. Before handing over the charge to myself as president, I will ask Toastmaster Nadam for his comments about the meeting.
Thank you, President DTM Talha. I was not really keen upon attending this meeting. Toastmaster Imran Rana had been pursuing me since yesterday, and then I got messages from Toastmaster Latif. I have a meeting in the evening also at 3 p.m. So I thought one meeting a day is enough. But having attended the meeting, I liked the idea and the concept of an advanced meeting. And you are right, we did have an advanced club, but that was more or less a paper club, and I was also a member of that club, previous club. So this is a good idea. I mean, this is an excellent forum for people who are, maybe even if they're new, to get advice or to get feedback from a number of different people. And hopefully when we have the next meetings, we'll have more attendance, better attendance, and maybe we can get members from all over Pakistan attending, and people we can really add value to the speeches that are given by the members. This was also like two excellent speeches today, but even then they got feedback, good feedback. So I think this is an excellent idea, and I really enjoyed having attended the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Talha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Najib. And yes, as you saw, we had people from all over Pakistan, and that's the way we want to continue. And thank you once again. Although I must ask, and just to let people know that Toastmaster Najib is associated with Karachi Toastmasters Club. In fact, he's the immediate pastor. Najib sir, wasn't the Karachi meeting every Sunday?
It is on Sunday, but I have the Cavaliers meeting at 3 p.m.
Okay.
Cavaliers.
Okay.
Counselor today, actually.
Okay. Fair. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Najib. And as always, you always add value. And let me share one thing about Toastmaster Najib. Every time he sees me speak, no matter where, he takes the time to come to me and or message me to deliver his brief feedback. And trust me, that is the most useful feedback I have ever received in my life, and it's constant. And I so much I appreciate it so much. We have a guest Toastmaster, Toastmaster Umna. Toastmaster, would you like to share your feedback?
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you for giving me the chance to share my feedback. I really like the concept of these new advanced meeting sessions you're going to have. And basically, that is the whole point of Toastmasters. You don't really coddle the speakers, you help them improve with the positive criticism. And that is what makes Toastmasters. We come here to improve. And I'm really looking forward to attending more sessions with you people. Thank you so much for this event today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. And with that, we bring this meeting to a close. So, Toastmaster of the day, do you want to say anything or give some concluding remarks? Usually, because at this point, we usually hand back to the Toastmaster of the day and then back to the president. But since there's no voting for Big Four, and we are also over time, so I didn't do that. But Toastmaster of the day, please feel free to give your concluding remarks.
DTM Tala, just to add what you asked for, we will give a little extra effort to have this meeting well explained to all the role holders and role players. I myself take the responsibility to have more energetic meetings. Looking forward for more, because yes, we all are here to learn, and if we have a library with us, like in shape of TM Najam, you yourself and other experienced Toastmasters, so why not we should get the book and read by their experiences. So yes, for sure, we will put the extra effort to make this more energetic and helpful for all the new Toastmasters and public speakers. Thank you.
Well, Toastmaster Latif, there's nothing to feel. I don't know. I detected between the lines that you think we did not have a good meeting, but we indeed had a great meeting. Yes, there are always improvement areas. Don't be so hard upon yourself. This was our first advanced meeting, and our attendance was better than expected. Our participation was better than expected. We fulfilled the basic purpose of the meeting. And yes, I thought that my keynote would make things clear, but clearly we need more training. But again, that was also expected. So everyone who participated today, my sincere gratitude to you. And we'll continue to have these meetings, inshallah, and we'll continue to improve upon the quality of these meetings. So absolutely no worries about that. And I must commend, because there are recommendations and commendations in this meeting. So I must commend, first of all, that Toastmaster Latif, along with our VP Education, he is the one who is spearheading this project for us in terms of taking it forward. Also, our VP Education, Imran, he was supposed to be here, but he's started a course which clashes with the time. Otherwise, he and Toastmaster Latif, they are the ones in charge of the public relationing, of the agenda and everything. And when you consider that this is in addition to our weekly meetings and the combined meetings that we are always having, that's an amazing achievement, and nothing to take away from our members too. And I'm especially thrilled that every club that we invited, some member from them actually turned up in this meeting. So that is a great honor for us as well. So there's a lot to feel happy about after this meeting. And now I'm stopping the recording, and we will I officially